Pick up Mike Durbin's Conan action figure, bro. Look how beautiful this thing is. I freaking love the packaging, man. Look at this. MikeDurbin.com, guys. Help Mike out, man. This is a beautiful action figure, bro. Beautiful. MikeDurbin.com.
You always see people flocking to Almost for photos in any hotel, right?
I actually saw him in the bathroom today.
And when he was in there, how big was it?
He was taller than the bathroom.
No, I mean, how big was it when he was at the urinal?
Oh no, I didn't see him at the urinal. I saw him washing his hands. I wouldn't look at that anyway. That's hella weird.
I don't know if Get My Go will come back. They might have wrapped it up. We might have wrapped it up.
Okay, we are the Get My Go boys, and we are back with episode 96 at least. The word pedophile is thrown around a lot, mostly by crazy right-wingers who stand up against cancel culture, man. We don't give a fuck, man. We say whatever we need to, man. We don't deal with censorship. So what we have today is a certain person who claims to be right-wing and all that stuff, pondering if his child has been checking any dicks lately. And I think that today we are going to roast him pretty well. And I just want to say that
5 minutes later,
I'm going to still be doing this. Durbin?
Yeah, what, you got a roadcaster now?
No, it's just, what do they call it? StreamYard is very advanced, for example.
I like the racism, the body shaming.
and that's the stuff, so we can play this. And do not forget.
Bro, you interrupt every fucking day on everything we do.
That's a classic one. Oh, I love that one.
You're an idiot, dude.
Hughesy, it's great to be on with you. We did Get My Go episode 1 together. Not the pilot episode, but just Get My Go episode 1 was only me and you. So here we are again, 95 episodes later.
Oh, definitely. It's taken... see, I always think that the good thing about Get My Go cast-wise is it doesn't need to be the full lineup at all times, as long as they're there to add stuff to the conversation. Yep. It always helps. There, man. And stuff and everything.
So we got a very interesting episode for you. I'm hearing typing.
You'll see.
I'm hearing a lot of typing. I can only expect something very funny is going to... Well, this is going to be audio only, so I'm sorry for your crawl at the bottom. But it says leave your comments in the comment section. So I want everyone to do that. To roast Billy in the comments, because he's very, very thin-skinned and he can't handle any kind of criticism. If you feel free to type anything about how he got punked out by Sean Ross Sapp at the Starcast last year.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot handle that.
Yeah, he also can't handle a spicy dinner, which is audio from his shitcast.
Well, I do have to praise Billy for one thing. Normally, his all the podcast episodes I've ever heard him do, it's just him talking into like a laptop or an iPad from 10 feet away, and they always sound like garbage. But for some reason, this episode doesn't sound too bad. So I don't know if he brought his microphone with him. We're doing Billy's... So basically, to sum it all up, Billy and his son Austin went to WrestleMania. No, SummerSlam last week. SummerSlam was in Cleveland, and Billy took his son on a 2-week holiday, and good for him. Austin has seen more of the world than probably anybody listening. So
yeah, he's seen more high class hotel lobbies than most people should at his age with that type of a haircut. Shouldn't he be at home in England starting fights, race wars, instead of going out to meet LA Knight, man?
Yep. So Billy did a podcast episode. I would only assume that he did it while on the road still because it came out like the next day. So we'll get into this right now.
The one thing I have to say about Billy's podcasting, and I was actually thinking about this earlier, is that how can someone with his contacts in the business, like the wrestling industry, and do a show about pro wrestling to have such horrible fucking contacts and stuff? Like, shouldn't his show be this huge success? Shouldn't he be getting these insider guests on his show dropping scoop? But unfortunately, he stinks.
You are listening to The Fight Show here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, covering tomorrow's WWE SummerSlam. You can follow the Sports Gambling Podcast Network on X at the SGP.
Right, first of all, there's this little crazy thing called web traffic and algorithms. If you're going to put out your SummerSlam preview or whatever, you put it out a week before the show. So like if you 7 full days of algorithm, no one's going to check it out on the day of the show, you stupid fuck. I remember back when he was forced upon us by Glenn on the fucking Keeping 100. It was his idea to put out his preview shows the day of the show, and sometimes literally hours before the show. It was pathetic, embarrassing. Disco stinks.
I am the host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Therefore, you can follow me at SGP Soccer. That's at SGP Soccer.
And don't forget that... Oh, I forgot, sorry.
You can also follow me at LockBettingX.
The way he talks is so dumb. Let's give him a soundtrack here.
About men beating up women at the Olympics. And most importantly, I also post my profit and loss spreadsheet. I have delivered 134 months in a row of transparent and tracked profit. The pinned tweet on that account is always the latest P&L. So at the moment, it is the 133rd month, but that will...
Okay. This is painful.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy, he's the Rupert Popkin type guy. He goes home and literally sets up his own audience against the wall so that he can... like, he's probably actually doing this as he speaks. He's put himself in the green screen of Joe Rogan's room where he's got the full studio and this is his music, and he's like, yeah, man, I've got this huge audience and we're doing great numbers, yeah? Everybody loves us and people want to be my friend. My son never gets called a pufter. And also, I'm white. That's it, yeah. I wish I was white.
5 minutes later.
Scroll down the X account to find all of these spreadsheets. You can simply go to one easy to find location, which is the tab over at lockbetting.com. And I genuinely encourage you to have a look through the spreadsheets. First of all, they're verified.
Okay, Billy, where's the link? If I'm listening to your podcast, that sounds like a lot of effort for me. Shouldn't this stuff be put online with the links put down below in the description box? You girl her.
Bye.
All right, that's the end of that clip. It did sound a lot better when you added the soundtrack. Like, Billy, don't be afraid to do any kind of post-production on your podcast.
Yeah, cheap plug. I just did a Aerosmith tribute episode, which has a Aerosmith soundtrack underneath it. I know that sounds crazy, but if you're going to ramble on, get it, Led Zeppelin, then there you go. Put a bit of music beneath it, son of a bitch.
And this did drop on August 3rd. So he dropped the preview, the betting podcast preview, the day of
you
the
are
event.
listening.
Like, I don't know how long you have before the event starts that you can, put in your final bet. I don't know how that works, but you would think he would have put this up earlier. All right, so this is Billy and Austin. His son is 13. I think he turns 14 in a couple weeks. Billy posted the other day. And this is them. I'm assuming they're in their hotel room somewhere, probably Cleveland. If this was dropped on Saturday, I'm assuming he recorded it that day. So he'd probably been in the hotel 2 or 3 days before that, and you know what Billy loves to do when he goes to these hotels, that he finds out what hotel the talent's staying in. He stalks all the wrestlers, whether they're in the gym, the restaurant, the lobby. He can be found on the hotel property at any time with like a huge bag of Funko Pops and other items that he can get autographed. Like, this guy is the typical autograph hound.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I love, the way he always goes off on these rants about you loser marks, you're a bunch of pathetic losers, you have no life. Billy's life is fucking finding out hotel addresses and buying fucking Braun Breaker Funko Pops so that he might sign it, you know. Excuse me, Gav, will you? This is the way Billy's thing. Excuse me, Gav, I'm just a poor little boy with a son with blonde hair. Would you fucking sign my fucking Steiner Brothers thing? I know you're not him, but you fucking look like him, slag.
Oh my God.
Talk about your dislike for Punk as someone who's supported him since you were 2 years old, and what changed, and who you think is going to win this match and why, and who you want to win it off the back of your experiences.
I have the music for Austin.
Can you remember, like, when you were 2 years old, do you remember like which team you supported or which wrestler you supported at that point? Who remembers when they're 2 years old? I don't.
I don't. I think Billy would, because he hasn't mentally advanced from then. I have some music for Austin to play as he speaks.
Okay.
Let me just start by saying, I think this match has definitely got to be drew. Because like you said, with the costing in matches, costing in the title again and again and again and again and again. Even the one on Raw the night after, yeah, that's pretty forgotten. But I definitely think this match has got to be drew.
Basically, his problem with Billy's problem with CM Punk is that he wouldn't sign one of his things.
Well, I mean, if you want to go back before this, Billy's problem with Punk is that it starts when Punk held up the sign that said support trans youth, right? Before that, he was a massive Punk fan until that happened. And then Billy put out all the tweets about how he's a pedophile, and he capitalized Phil, and then he made up like a fake t-shirt with the AEW logo in the corner, so it looked like it was an official AEW shirt, and it said pedophile Phil.
Well, to be fair, CM Punk is because did you hear that podcast he did where he get a kid on to ask him about looking at the size of Omos's dick? Oh wait, sorry, that was Billy.
that was not CM Punk. That was Billi Bhatti. Yeah.
Yeah, well, nice work, Billy. Yeah, you see. I was just trying to fucking be a good dad. And there's nothing wrong with sitting your son down and refusing to let him cut his hair and ask him about the size of a big black veiny cock and if he's seen one of his bollocks or not.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that point.
That's what being a dad's all about.
We'll get to that, but first, Austin is going to explain why he stopped being a CM Punk fan. And we know why Billy got a cease and desist mailed to him because of this pedophile t-shirt.
Yeah, he got a fake one mailed to him because that was what, less than 48 hours later, and how would Punk's lawyer find out where Billy lives? He doesn't have a house.
Maybe 6-7 months, I really started to dislike him. And the reasons are, he's just not a very nice guy in real life.
He's just not a really good guy in... What do you say? He's not a really good guy in real life. He's not John Cena. He doesn't profess to be a nice person in real life.
Yeah.
Everyone knows he's surly. He's angry. He's not a nice guy.
Yeah, there's only been stories about him being a dick for a long, long time.
When you see him, he may be nice the first time, and he looks nice on TV, but he always gives you dirty looks. He's always like moody. He's always like ignorant. He's just not a nice guy to be around.
So he said the first time. Now, to give a little context to this, we heard from someone that we know has inside information, but we heard that WrestleMania weekend, like Billy and Austin, like stalked everybody, and they went up to Punk 3 or 4 times. One time was in the gym while he was on the treadmill, and they were, trying to get pictures with him and shit signed. And then like on the 3rd or 4th time, Punk said to him, like, "You again?" He was finally had enough of it.
Yeah. And really, I'm not a big CM Punk fan, but the problem is that people like him are, what's the term, smart to the business there, man. So they know what people like Billy actually are. They're not fans. Like, there's a difference between... and to be fair, Punk has a reputation for being a dick to fans, but he sees people like that, and he knows, these people are just adult marks trying to profit from you. And plus, he was in AEW for all that time. He would know that those people are a bunch of dicks, and Billy looks like a dick.
Yeah, you've met him a couple of times, and none of them have been...
Not a couple times, Billy. How many times did you guys meet him? "Quote unquote meet." How many times, Billy? Not a couple of times, dude. It was half a dozen at least.
Positive interactions. It's always, unlike some other wrestlers, maybe they're like busy, or you catch them at a busy moment, or they're
on the treadmill.
They're playing their character. He's a babyface, and he's not giving you one single positive interaction. Whilst on TV, he's talking about going down to NXT, helping the wrestlers. He was at the WWE tryouts. He's doing media interviews about how much he loves the company, how it's the best locker room he's been in. Yet all we see is CM Punk sitting around with female wrestler after female wrestler after female wrestler after female wrestler. And if you disturb, as you have done, CM Punk for any photo or autograph or whatever, or even just acknowledge him with a wave or a smile or whatever, because obviously the first time you got your photo, you got your figure.
I just don't get it. The first time I met CM Punk, he told me to fuck off, and then the second time he told me to fuck off and told me to suck his dick, and then the third time I meet him, he's called me a piece of shit and says fuck off and suck my dick. And you'd think that maybe Punk would sometimes learn that you gotta change. But no, he's an idiot who doesn't understand. I'm the best at what I do. I've got a little boy with me, and he's got hair. He's got hair like a little girl.
Then, even from the first time he was off, and he's
I just don't get it. The first time I met CM Punk, he told me to fuck off, and then the second time he told me to fuck off and told me to suck his dick, and then the third time I meet him, he's called me a piece of shit and says fuck off and suck my dick. And you'd think that maybe Punk would sometimes learn that you gotta change. But no, he's an idiot who doesn't understand. I'm the best at what I do. I've got a little boy with me, and he's got hair. He's got hair like a little girl.
Then, even from the first time he was off, and he's continued to be off ever since, to the point where what was it today? You wanted to get your card signed, right? Which was a different thing, because that return card from Survivor Series wasn't out till recently.
So first time it was a Funko Pop. Now he wants a card signed. Like, come on, dude. You're lucky enough to meet him once. Be happy with that. But you got to keep going back multiple days finding this guy. Why would he be happy about that?
Yeah, and plus, if I think it's quite obvious that he may recognize.
Yes.
Punk is kind of a mark, so he would know all these dirt sheet riders.
Yeah.
So he would know, well, it's the fucking long-haired guy that sort of went viral on video for almost fighting Sean Ross Sapp, and he keeps walking around with this long, blonde-haired Asian boy. So why the fuck would he not remember them? Just fuck off and accept defeat.
Yeah. I mean, and to his credit, Billy does not look like the typical wrestling mark. He's not obese. He's not, wearing a black shirt and, cargo shorts and smelly. Billy looks like a character. He looks like his own person. He doesn't, he stands out in the crowd. To your credit, Billy, I give you that credit. You have your own look going on. Good for you. Austin, a little kid with long hair, dyed blonde hair. He stands out in the crowd. If you meet these guys once, you're going to remember them. But when you meet them the fourth or the fifth time, it's like, come on, dude, enough.
Yeah.
So when you wanted to get that done, what happened?
Well, I mean, I was a little scared of him, but I kind of went up to him, and then he just kind of ignored. And he did a couple of pictures for some people, but he pretty much he ignored me and this other kid.
Yeah, he huffed at the people.
Well, what a great story. We should give this guy a weekly segment on Keeping Them 100. That would do very well.
People outside, and he was like, and told them to be quick, even though he had nothing to do. He ignored you and a kid, and then you walked. You saw he was waiting for an elevator, so you walked up to him, and that's when he gave you the dirty glare, and you were just like, "Fuck it, this guy's a prick."
He's waiting for the elevator. He's trying to get somewhere. He's either trying to go back to his room or to the meeting room or anywhere, maybe to the gym. He wants to get away from you, and you guys fucking hound him, just like you hound. Look at all the pictures Billy posted of he met like 24 wrestlers, not Billy, but pictures of Austin. Dude, they are fucking hounding these people in the hotel, and guess what, Billy? The wrestlers don't like it. Yes, most of them are smiling in the picture with Austin. They're appearing happy because they're used to it by now. But trust me, they don't like it. And here's a clip of Brian Myers from this week's Major Wrestling Figure podcast where he goes into that. When you're in the wrestler's hotel, that's their private place. That's where they are, recharging. That's where they're staying for the weekend or however long they're there.
There was several autograph hounds at our hotel this weekend. And Eric Young kind of snapped and was like, dude, don't come here. I'm not Eric Young right now. I'm Jeremy Fritz. You're invading my privacy. Don't you think he said the guy, don't you think this is weird?
Damn.
So hopefully that worked and people get the hint. Airports, hotels, please leave wrestlers alone.
But we knew that before, after WrestleMania and whatnot. So nothing's really changed this weekend. It's not been a case of, that's giving you finality and closure that, yes, he's a prick. You decided he was anyway. By the end of WrestleMania weekend, you were just completely avoiding him.
So you figured that all out at WrestleMania weekend 3 or 4 months ago, but still, SummerSlam weekend, did you think he was going to change? You think he's going to be a lot nicer to you? He's not going to forget you, man.
Yeah, CM Punk was such a dickhead that we decided we don't want to hang around with him anymore.
What a loss.
Yeah, and I bet, and then Billy goes, and he's hanging out with female wrestlers all the time. It's like, I don't know about you, but I'd rather much stare at a fucking, what's that, the one that does the Soul Ruka?
I don't know any of them.
She's in NXT. She's fucking insanely good looking. I'd very much rather hang around with her than hang around with fucking Braun Strowman talking about guns and meat and fucking right-wing politics shit. I'd rather just stare at Soul Ruka until my wife turns up. Soul Ruka, if you're listening, this is what I think of you.
Yeah, I just don't really like being around him. He's just not very nice.
Guess what? He doesn't like being around you either.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I don't blame Austin for this. This is a little child. He doesn't fully understand what's going on. He's being told by his dad, "Oh, there he is. Go get him. Go get him. Go get the 7th autograph. Go. You have to get it."
This is the perfect example of, well, maybe not child abuse, but this is a kid being forced to do, what's the term, his dad's bidding. Yeah. Where Billy, it's the problem here is Billy. This story is making Billy look bad.
Yeah. Again, I want to stress, I'm not faulting Austin at all for this. This is a little kid. He doesn't know any better. Hopefully one day. He seems like a very intelligent child, so hopefully he'll grow up and he'll realize his. And don't listen to anything your dad tells you to do, Austin.
Yeah, essentially, he's bullied a child for, every time he's seen them.
Every time he's seen him, he's bullied him by signing his fucking everything that Austin would shove in front of him. He probably signed it. He took 3 or 4 different pictures with him at WrestleMania weekend. We saw the pictures. And then you continue it now on SummerSlam weekend. And now, because he's finally had enough and he ignored you, he didn't snap at you, dude. He ignored you, and that, according to Billy, is bullying him.
I think that the problem is that in Billy's head, he has so convinced himself that him and CM Punk were destined to become friends. And the fact that he's met Punk in person and hasn't been like embraced with open legs, that he's thinking, you broke my fucking heart. How could you do that to little old me? What the fuck did I ever do to you to be treated so terribly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, personal experiences aside, without your stories there, it kind of even if you're looking in from the outside, it kind of lands on he's a prick because he's just completely fake.
You're an idiot, dude.
It's the fakeness of what you see on TV with these interviews and how he's being portrayed with the younger wrestlers and whatnot that you think is completely fake.
It's just like some footballers you could reference it to who are like really nice. Who's someone you could reference it to?
Rashford.
Yeah, Rashford, Bellingham.
Yeah.
Though it's
The
a lot.
PR is different to how they really are.
Yeah.
But in terms of also something you said to me was that you've not really liked his work either. Like you since he's come back, you don't really understand what you liked. It's not the same CM Punk. I mean, obviously, when you started watching, you were watching it with me when you were about 2, but you really started getting into it when you were like, I'd say what, 4?
6, 7?
6, 7's when you went to WrestleMania, but you had an understanding that CM Punk was a bad guy, or you watched, or you were able to rewatch back those old matches that you referenced and understood that he was playing a bad guy. Is it just a case of he's not a bad guy and you don't like the good guy version of Punk, or do you feel that there's something not quite there where it doesn't make sense to you what you liked before?
No, it does make sense to me. I don't like him as a babyface. I like him as a heel. I like him with a title. I liked his whole I'm leaving with a title storyline.
That was a babyface storyline.
Yeah, I know, but still. I used to like
You're an idiot, dude.
I don't really like his work. I don't currently like the way he acts. I just don't really like him at all. And I completely want Drew to win. And when he faces Rollins, I want Rollins to win. And
oh, really?
Until he turns to a heel, I don't want him to win anything.
I just don't think that he's cut that 5-star promo. I mean, he's always solid, but he.
Here's why Billy's immediately wrong. Look at the ticket sales that WWE's been having whenever CM Punk's back.
Yeah.
Like in my opinion, winter is better than summer. That's just my opinion. But it is an actual fact that this shit that CM Punk that's been doing is working. But I don't think he's doing a good promo. It's like, but he is. Like, I don't think long hair on men is a good idea. But sadly, you know.
You're an idiot, dude.
And also,
I like the racism, the body shaming.
And don't even try to.
Bro, you interrupt every fucking day on everything we do.
He has to be, because if he couldn't talk, he wouldn't have anything. I think he looks older than he is. I don't understand why he's never been able to get into shape.
He looks older than he is. Okay. The guy's gotten beat up for 20 years. More than that. Like, what do you want him to look like?
Yeah,
he's not a guy that, he's never gotten his teeth fixed. I mean, he's got a couple teeth in the back that have gotten knocked out. He never replaced them. He looks tired. He looks beaten down. His nose is now crooked since he came back, from the 2 beatings in the MMA. I mean, that's what he looks like. And
Billy's got a lot of hot takes here. He looks older. It's like that's because he doesn't take any of the fun stuff that helps you sleep at night. And then he says how he's never looked in great shape before. That's because he doesn't take steroids. That's what happens when you stay steroid free. Look at Disco, juiced out of his fucking mind.
Yet he was able to get into shape for UFC, but he was fighting at 175 pounds. I mean, he would look ridiculous if he was at 175 pounds in the WWE. He wouldn't look like he could fight anyone.
Well, that's the difference there, Billy, is UFC's real and WWE's fake. I just went to see Twisters tonight. Spoiler alert, at 4 or 5 separate times, Glenn Powell runs away from hurricanes over a 24-hour period. I really doubt he would get away with that in real life. Because it's fake, which is what WWE is. In UFC, you have to be in shape because it's real.
You're an idiot, dude.
Let alone someone the size of Drew McIntyre. So he did look good at 175, but at 200 pounds, which is what he would need to be for wrestling, around about that, he doesn't seem like he can get into shape. He's one of the skinnier guys, but has always had lower belly fat. Now, everyone struggles with that past 40, but Punk's struggled with that his entire career. He's never looked good in that department. And now you add to the fact that the face is looking old, the grey hair's there, the injuries are mounting up. He can't seem to have a run of matches without getting injured. So, without the talking, there really isn't anything to like about Punk. And on the other side of it,
There's nothing to like about him, but yet he's probably the top merchandise seller right now, top 3 at least, right? I don't like him.
Yeah, there's nothing to like about him. So let's harass him 6 times tomorrow for a fucking signature on this little toy that I bought for me.
Drew's doing his best work. So in a way, you have a guy doing his worst work and a guy doing his best work, I would say.
Yeah.
So if the 6'5" guy who walks through the airport, and I think there's the thing in wrestling where you call it the airport test. When Drew McIntyre walks through the airport,
Yeah, we all know. We've all heard about that. Everybody that's listening to a wrestling podcast knows about the airport test. He's acting like it's some new thing.
Yeah, I was having lunch the other day with the Ultimate Warrior and Roddy Piper, and I said, lads, have you ever noticed that the other wrestlers stand out in the fucking airport? And they go, oh, you're right there, Billy, you dirty fuck. Maybe edit that part. He says, that's a good point. He says, yeah, well, you can use it for your podcast, you little bastards.
and he passes that airport test where you look at him and go, whoa, who the fuck is that? What does he do? He must be a wrestler. That like, what you would, how you would react, obviously, to Almas.
Before we get into the almost thing, yes, when Punk's in the airport, you know what he's probably doing? He's probably doing the opposite. He's probably putting his hoodie over his head. He doesn't want to be noticed. He doesn't want to be found. He doesn't want to be hunted down and having a fucking paint pen and 58 by 10 shoved in front of him, or 10 Funko Pops that he has to sign. When he takes the blue line from O'Hare to North Avenue, guess what? He's probably got his hoodie up. He's got his headphones on. He doesn't want to be seen. He doesn't want to pass the airport test.
And plus, didn't it come out last year, the year before, that a lot of these wrestlers are not allowed to sign autographs? So even if you do ask, they kind of have to say no.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a rule for everybody, but like the video you're talking about is Rey Mysterio said he couldn't sign because of his contract with Fanatics.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that's for everybody, but maybe Ray just said that because he didn't want to sign. Like, dude, Billy, I know that's your life. I know that's your main source of income is stalking people and getting autographs and then selling them on autographsharks.com. Everyone right now go to autographsharks.com and you can see a plethora of jerseys with badly scribbled signatures in an awkward place in the jersey. If you're into that kind of thing, if you're into autographs, go there and acquire some for yourself. But where was I going with this? They don't like it, dude. Like, they don't want to be hunted down in the fucking airports, by the baggage carousel, in the lobby. And what we're about to get into right now, they don't want to be fucking bothered when they're in the men's restroom.
I think of Almas as the biggest example, which is why you always see, despite the fact that he's not booked strongly, you always see people flocking to Almost for photos in any hotel, right?
I actually saw him in the bathroom today. I
Right.
went to the bathroom today, and he was like ducking down in the bathroom.
And when he was in there, how big was it?
He was taller than the bathroom.
No, I mean, how big was it when he was at the urinal?
Oh no, I didn't see him at the urinal. I saw him
Alright.
washing his hands. I went.
Austin, normal kid. Good job. You didn't fucking stare at his dick when he was pissing in the fucking urinal. Good job, Austin.
Exactly.
Your father would have been proud of you if you would have. So you could report back to him how big it was. What a fucking thing to ask your own child, man.
Yeah, and I wonder if Billy is upset that he wasn't looking at his dick. You just said, but your mum's a bitch. I thought you're supposed to look at Willie's. You bastard.
And I wouldn't look at that anyway. That's hella weird.
Austin says it's hella weird. And you are right, Austin. Good for you, man. That you are 100% correct. That would be hella weird if you stared at some guy pissing in the urinal, dude. Just to report back to your dad.
Yeah, although saying hella is a bit more than saying, you looked at a dick.
It is hella weird, but when you're a 7'2" black dude, like, I would be curious for two reasons. Number one, if it's true what they say about black dudes, or about all of them, and number two, would a 7'2" body, would 7'2" in height match the bottom half? Because a 5-inch willy on a 7'2" man would not look right, would it?
No, I guess not.
It would look ridiculous.
Listen to how uncomfortable Austin is. Like, how do you answer that, dude? Like,
it sounds like he's being bent. It sounds like he's being bent over when he's fucking answering. No,
because he's uncomfortable, man. Because he's probably like, why is my father asking me this? And at least 18 people are going to hear this on the podcast.
Yeah, but actually, a lot more people have heard this because Billy has so many haters that this clip has been going viral around Twitter.
Yeah. We're not the ones breaking this audio. Like this short clip of the almost thing has gone viral on the internet, or on Twitter at least.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Billy, he doubles down and he, I guess we'll read his tweet later, but he doesn't see anything wrong with this.
No, I guess not.
It would look ridiculous.
No.
It would look like an extra thumb hanging off his body. But either way, my point is, before we got well off track, is Almost passes the airport test 100%.
Okay, right, listen. There's getting off track. Like, with me and Durban always tend to devolve into a music conversation. That's getting off track. Asking your son if he's seen the size of another man's dick is not getting off track. It's pretty much breaking the law.
Okay, so I guess everyone was posting the clip and then tagging Billy in it and then just, ripping him. And then he responded like he always does. He sells for everything. He responded to a bunch of them, and this is one of them. All right, Billy's response on one of them was, yeah, hilarious content for the audience it was intended for. My son is 14 in 4 months. He's not 8, you fucking simps. He's not a friendless gimp headed towards being a future fat, unemployed virgin wrestling mark. It's wild how this exposed the losers of society and normal guys.
Yeah, it's a very bad look for Billy. That shit. It's like, to just say it was like an attempt at a joke that really went wrong. But the fact that it was kept in just backs up my theory that Billy's not only a shit podcaster, but he literally doesn't know how to edit, and he also doesn't understand that stuff should be edited. Like, there's a couple of Durban dropped during this that he's going to have to edit out.
Absolutely.
Oops, we're going live.
Yeah, Billy wouldn't know how to edit anything out. He's never known how to do any kind of editing.
When I used to have to edit that shit for Keeping the 100, he would get so pissed off if literally a single word was edited out of it. Like, he would time his original recordings and be like, it said it was 93 minutes, but will you put it up? It's only 91 and a half. What the fuck are you doing?
I don't know. I feel bad for Austin. I'm sure on some levels, Billy's probably a great dad. I know he puts Austin through private school, and Austin's involved in a lot of sports and other things. So good for him. I think he'll turn out fine. But dude, why would you ask your kid that question? And please stop using the kid as your pawn to get autograph shit to sell. You know? Like, go get a real job, dude. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, stalking celebrities and athletes is I mean, that's the example you want to give. Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if Billy has all these sports contacts, and to be fair to Billy, he does know what he's talking about. Like, he knows a lot about football and soccer and American football and basketball, and he knows about like combat sports, and then he also knows about pro wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
When you have that much information, like legitimate inside information, you should be much bigger than what you are. You should have a successful YouTube show. You should have a big podcast. You shouldn't be doing the basement barrel stuff where you're forced to, where you have to guilt trip wrestlers into signing for your kid. Like, it's a bad look, and if Billy's rich, great, but money can't buy any credibility.
I know, I will not take it away from him. I'm sure he earned some money when he did, you know, the 2 episodes of that reality show he was on. And I know he probably made good money doing appearances shortly after that, but dude, that well is dried up. I mean, he doesn't resemble that person at all. Like, if someone that watched his reality show back in the day, if you saw Billy at an airport right now by the baggage carousel, if you saw that dude with, you know, a bag like Santa Claus draped over his shoulder with 15 Funko Pops in it, if you saw that guy, you know, the beard, he looks more like Charles Manson than, you know, 2011 Billi Bhatti from the reality show. Dude, nobody knows who you are anymore, and you're not making money off that anymore. So that's why you have to stalk people and get autographs to sell.
Ho, 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 kids. It's Billy Claus. I don't come once a year. I come once a pay-per-view.
I know he's got money, of course. If you can afford to take 2-week vacations, you know, 5 or 6 times a year to America, good for you. But I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Yeah.
But I will praise Billy again for his for the betting shit. Like, I don't know anything about that world. He's probably really good at that. I'm sure that if you want to make money, you can go to lockbetting.com, sign up. He's got, I don't know if he has Patreon anymore or whatever avenue he gets his information out to people. But from what I know, he's pretty successful at that. So good for you, Billy. But leave the wrestlers alone, man. They don't like it.
Yeah, and that being said, I will end with a Billy compliment. When he was on Keeping Them 100, he was able to get Conan and Disco to have long-form conversations on a topic, which they don't so much anymore, and people are complaining, but that would be my fault. Disco actually complained once. He goes, why do you keep putting up so many short clips? And it's like, because you have short conversations. And he goes, well, don't put them up. It's like, then there will be 0 uploads. Well, sports.
So where can people go to hear about these Keeping 100 clips that you're talking about?
You can go to Keeping 100 official on YouTube. We're currently approaching 62,000 subscribers. We're approaching that. We have got, I think, around 52 million views. I think it's going very well. Sign up to become a YouTube member. There's a shitload of behind the scenes content there, and just generally chat up the comment section. It's very, very good. But if you really want to find a good channel that has a lot of that's one thing I can boast about my show, is that regardless of the topic, there will always be a long conversation per question. So it's not like we just steam through everything. Like in a 40-minute conversation, there would be about 3 questions, but it is 3 good questions, and that can be found at Hughesy Entertainment on YouTube. And follow me at the Hughesy on Instagram and at the Hughesy on X, and especially Instagram, because I've ordered a bunch of vinyls and I've started uploading again, and I love them all. Durband?
I want to thank Billi Bhatti for being the subject of this episode. I know he will point out that the highest viewed episodes of Get My Go are the Billi Bhatti ones. So, Billy, we are grateful to you for for being our subject this week. The last couple Get My Go episodes have the numbers have gone down. So thank you, Billy, for the big boost that we're going to get from you. So keep it up. Whatever you're doing, keep it up so we will have material to cover for the next few episodes.
Yeah, and if there's one thing to take away from all this, thank God Almost is not a pal, because he would have Austin in half.
Oh. Please, by God, go to MikeDurban.com and order your Conan Major Bendy's Mike Durban Productions exclusive figurine. I dropped the price. They're on sale right now. If you want an autographed one, they are $50. They used to be $60. Now they're $50. And I got the autographs legitimately, Billy. I didn't hang out outside Conan's house or his hotel room or at the San Diego airport. It was an official autograph signing session. You can get the non-autographed figurines for, I think, $29 now. And then if you want just the loose figure, if you don't want the packaging, I think those are $18. And I have also, earlier in the show, we played the Brian Myers clip. I have a Brian Myers autographed trading card with Mike Durban Productions photography on it, and it's autographed by Brian Myers. Those are on sale for $15. MikeDurban.com. All right. Thanks, everyone. Yes. Oh, I had incredible guest today. Excuse me. This episode was produced by Hughesy, not by me.
All right. Get My Go 96 in the books. The Chadster's here, but I'm only here to say goodbye in the only way the Chadster can. And that is signing off for my great good friend Mike Durban, my great good friend the H-Man. This is your old buddy the Chadster. We will catch you on the flip side.